Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to MMA Unhinged, and I'm joined by a familiar foe, a familiar face to the channel. That is Party Hardy. As you can see there, Cameron, mate, an absolute pleasure. Always great to be joined by you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, mate. How are you getting on?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm chugging along, getting there, day by day. We'll see what comes next week. We're taking it week by week. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. But yeah, it's great to get you on off the back of a fantastic Bkfc performance. I'd love to talk about that. We've got a lot to discuss. It's been a while since we last talked. Obviously, we had that MMA fight made for the cage. I was sat there, cage side, watching that fight, and it was going your way, Cameron. Obviously, I know you know this. It was going your way. You were tagging him. Obviously, ultimately, it slipped. He got the heel hook. Talk to me about that. It looked like it was good. You were going to go on to win. In my opinion, I thought you were looking great. The striking, mate. I remember just sat there, cage side, and you were unleashing these bombs, and I could hear them, and I think, fuck it, now I don't want to be this guy right now. But he done well to kind of stay in the fight and get the job done. Talk to me about that fight, and obviously ultimately losing, but talk to me, more on the bigger picture.
Yeah, so it was a massive fight for me that because obviously that was me coming back from my ACL injury,
Yeah.
which left me from fight to fight. It was 2.5 years, so it was a long time out. On the day there wasn't like any more nerves or anything particular like that. I just really wanted to win, and I didn't feel uncomfortable in there. There was nothing different. Crowd was absolutely bouncing on the way out, true Party Hardy style. And yeah, caught him straight away. I had him tagged a good few times. He done well to take the shots. Done really, really well to take some of them shots. Um, I think that he was like lucky in the sense that they weren't placed on the chin. They were everywhere else but the chin. Um, and then obviously two strikers, but he went for the takedown. And then we landed a little bit funny from the sprawl, and he managed to sort of wrap my leg. And the first leg that he wrapped was the fucking ACL leg. And he was going for a heel hook as well, and I was like, no way. Anyway, I like managed to get out of that. He wrapped the other one, and I just made one tiny little mistake of not sitting on the foot and but I was too engaged and went to sit up to sort of get out and do some ground and pound. 'Cause I knew I had him finished, and that one little mistake cost me the fight, and it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking, that one, for me, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, watching you come to the audience afterwards, I could see the emotion on your face. You talk about that, it was heartbreaking. But I gotta say, you're one of the best sports I've ever seen in my life. Straight after the loss, you come out and greet your fans. I know you were putting on a face, shall we say? Putting on. Um, I know Cameron was there, but it felt like Cameron wasn't there. You were emotional coming out.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how it felt? It was a big one. Obviously, you talked about the injury of and obviously coming back after a while after the Dominic Wooden fight. Was it did it kind of feel like you wanted to win this one just to show put your fans back out there? I'm still about this.
Yeah, yeah, just to show, and then because I know what I'm capable of as well. So it was just to go out there and show that, because obviously before that I'd also been beat by Harry, so I'd had two losses to Harry and Dominic. Don't get me wrong, two absolute fantastic fighters. Nothing to be ashamed about by getting beat off either men. Um, but to just go out and sort of show what I was made of. But then obviously on top of that, having that 2.5 years out, I put so much into the rehab to try and get back. And then when I thought I was done with rehab, it then caused other problems that I had to try and get over. And there was all sorts going on, absolutely all sorts going on. At first, I was happy to just sort of get into fight week and then eventually get to fight day and have the fight. But then when it was going my way, then not. I like out the back before I come out to see everyone. I said to like my corner, Phil and Davey, I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this no more. It broke me that much. It honestly brought me to the point where I was like, I can't keep doing this, because I've put a lot of time and effort into the sport to sort of not get that much out of it. So it did break me, that, to be fair. It was hard. So you're right in saying like Cameron was there, but he wasn't there because my head was all over.
Does I'll quickly ask you about that. Does that remain the same? That you're done from MMA, or is that or is that just emotional, Cam?
I'm never going to say never, but obviously for how comfortable I felt in the BKFC, and for how well it went and the potential that I have to go in that, it would be sort of daft to not pursue that. Um, but obviously, like you say, even when I was fighting on BKFC, I was still training at SPG and stuff like that. I'll still be doing all my jits. I'll still be doing all the classes at SPG anyway. So just when I get a BKFC fight, I'll be putting in more boxing. Um, but like you say, you don't know what doors open and stuff like that. So I'll never say never.
Yeah, we'll talk about after that fight. Made for the cage, obviously. You seem to get one of the biggest opportunities off the back of that. BKFC has been a rising sport across the world, especially in England. They've had Newcastle shows. They've gone up and down the UK. They've just recently gone to Marbella, and I talked about that before we went live. That would have been a perfect location for
Yeah.
Party Hardy. He's got it in his name, so it makes perfect sense. But BKFC Prospect Series, it was a fantastic challenge for yourself. Bare knuckle. I presume you haven't, unless it's outside a club at 5 a.m. You've ever fought in bare knuckle before. But talk to me about that challenge. What was it like when you got contacted? Your coach told you BKFC. They've come forward. They're looking for the Hardy signature. What was that like in your head? How did that feel?
Well, what it was is I was looking to get matched on sort of like a local show, and I said yeah to two, three guys, couldn't get matched, and there was a guy at our gym, Pick Jardine. He was doing the boxing sparring at our gym, ready for his fight on BKFC, and we were struggling, and it was getting close, and I thought. I'd love to have a go at the bare knuckles, so I thought, fuck it, Davey, can you try and get me a fight on the BKFC show in Newcastle? And he had sent a few messages for me, and I got the opportunity there. So I just thought, fuck it, let's do it. Let's do the bare knuckle.
And that's exactly what he did. Went out there, looked fantastic. Round five stoppage. Did you kind of feel you talked about there earlier on? I think you felt comfortable as soon as you got into the BKFC cage. Did it kind of feel like home? This is where you're meant to be. Last MMA fight, I talked about it. I heard your shots from outside the cage. It felt powerful. If you take the gloves off, I think you're a dangerous man, Cameron.
That's what I mean. Like, and like that's like sort of the way they fight is sort of like my style. Um, I've always like that fight that he had as well is sort of the fight that I've always wanted to have in MMA, where it's just back and forth, stand up. Obviously, it's MMA, so you can't expect everyone to just stand up with you. It's going to go to the ground at some point. But with the bare knuckle, you're just going to go in there and have a stand up war, and that excites me. That gives me that buzz. So when I went in there, like there wasn't there were the only nerves that I had were for losing. I just didn't want to lose. I wasn't bothered about it being bare knuckle. I wasn't bothered about getting cut open. No, nothing like that. I was actually wanting a really good war. I ended up having a really good fight, and it was just I felt really comfortable. Felt comfortable in there. Obviously, I've been under the bright lights and stuff before, so the whole situation didn't get to me. It felt normal. Um, and it felt good, mate. It felt good. As horrible it is to say, is hitting someone with a bare fist felt good, but it did.
Um, there was a roar of emotion after the fight. You're flexing, you're screaming at the camera, and you're screaming at the fans. Talk to me about that. That kind of feels like a little bit of you kind of let everything go from the past 5 years, all the setbacks. Is that what was going through your head right then? Like, fuck's sake, I've done it. I've got the victory on my debut. I've impressed. You kind of let everything out there, I feel like.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was just pure emotion. That any fighter can tell you, like the adrenaline and the emotion after a fight, you almost can't control it. It's just what comes out just comes out. And for me, it was a big flex and raw. And like you said there, it was just the pure emotion behind it. Because I like you say, I've put that much graft in. I've had all them many setbacks and stuff like that, and then I've just went out there on the world's biggest bare knuckle platform and put on a very, very good performance, and it was a performance that I knew I was capable of. So I was just ecstatic with it.
If I'm correct in saying, I believe they offered you a contract afterwards. I believe.
No, they never actually. I got a bonus. I did get a bonus, and then I was asked to fight again on the one that's coming up in November. But obviously, unfortunately, for an injury from the last fight, I can't do that.
Yeah. Does that still feel like the conversations are good with BKFC? That it's looking likely that you'll get that contract and get that shot. I feel like they'll look at that fight on the prospect series and feel like this is the guy we can't let go potentially somewhere else.
Oh, 100%, they're still interested. Like I've had a bit of back and forth with the UK president Andrew Bakewell anyway. And
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go and watch the one in Newcastle myself. So that'll be good. So I'm looking forward to that, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back out there and making another statement.
Yeah, I think this is perfect for you. MMA was good, but I feel like you might have just found the sport that's kind of when you find the one like a woman, you look at it and you feel like, all
Yeah.
right, okay. Does it kind of feel like that you've matched the right person?
It does, mate. It really does. With the bare knuckle, like you say, it suits my style to the ground. And I just loved it in there. Like it gave me a really really big buzz doing that. Just being around it all, and just starting 3 feet apart. Oh no, is it 3 feet? I think it's like
It's
3 feet. Yeah, it's close. Like just toeing the line, and just you're just there to get stuck straight in, and I love that.
Yeah. Does it kind of feel like this could have been like this is where you should have been maybe all along?
I think everything happens for a reason. I really do think everything happens for a reason. So it'd be hard to say. Maybe he's a few years ago might not been ready for it. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I've always been ready for a good scrap, but
Yeah.
I think,
There we go.
yeah, I think the time and effort that I put into MMA, it'd have been daft not to keep pursuing that. But like I say, it just sort of it's funny, isn't it? Because if I'd have won that last fight, God knows what MMA show I could have been fighting on. So like you say, you've just got to, like, everything happens for a reason, and you've just got to go with it and just grab every opportunity that you can.
Yeah, you got to take week by week and just see what happens. And
Yeah.
that's basically it. But I'm excited to see you back. You talked a little bit about the injury last time out. We'll talk about that. I believe it's the shoulder. What does that kind of look like? I believe you're waiting surgery.
Yeah, so I've got my scan results coming on Thursday. So we don't fully know then. It's a suspected tendon tear. So I'm not quite sure what the time of recovery is and stuff on that. But listen, I've come back from the ACL, so this ain't going to be nothing to me. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be over half the recovery time of what the ACL was, and the ACL could potentially stop people, whereas now mine's stronger than ever. So I'll make sure that I'll be doing the same with the shoulder, and I know for a fine fact it's not going to bother me. Even coming back from my ACL, it wasn't like I was hesitant to throw kicks or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? That it's not going to bother me one bit. I'm just going to make sure that I rehab properly, make sure it is 100%. And with John Flynn Physiotherapy, who's absolutely fantastic, he's made me recover from my ACL, and he'll make me recover from this, and I'll be all systems go at the start of next year.
Exactly. If there was a rankings for for recovery and get back to fighting, I feel like you'd be number one contender, at least champion. But I want to talk about some other things as well. Fit to Fight, a program that you're running. Talk to fans a little bit about that. Seen a little bit about it. Obviously you're offering people, to kind of get in shape, fight in shape, should we say? What is your, the Fit to Fight program? What does that look like?
Yeah, so the Fit to Fight program, it's actually nothing to do with fighting. So I say training for life, fighting for better. But what it's based around is sort of the way I'll have you training. So the way that you'll train on the program. It's obviously suited to each individual person as well, but it's mainly going to be aimed around how I would train, sort of outside of my skills training. So sort of like your S&C type training. So you'll have your different types of circuits, you'll have your strength training and stuff like that. So it's just a good mixture, because I know going to the gym and just doing weights is boring, or just jumping on the stepper for an hour and 3-4 times a week is boring as well. So this is just a way that I know people enjoy, and everyone who hasn't trained like it and has trained like it on my program absolutely love it. They can't get enough of it, and it gets results. So I know that it's the best. Like for me, and for a lot of people, it's going to be the best way to train, because it not only gets you results, but it also keeps you wanting more as well. So and then it also help with nutrition and then the accountability through me and stuff like that as well. So it's working really well, to be fair, and the results that I'm getting from it are amazing. So it's good.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the results, but you pretty much tapped them on the head. I feel like that's pretty much everything. Obviously, I've looked through your Instagram and stuff like that. I'm intrigued by that. Hopefully, fans, see that and feel like, Cameron Hardy, he knows what he's doing. If you look at any photo of Cameron Hardy on his Instagram, he's in decent. He's not in bad shape, is he? So he must be doing.
Yeah, that's it. Like you say, like you can walk the walk and talk the talk, and I've done that as well. So there's not much better people out there than people who have been out there and done it themselves. So and it's good for me. Like I love helping people to make that change for the better. And just guiding them all the way, because like you say, in fight camps you get ups and downs and stuff like that as well, and it's going to be the exact same on people's fitness journeys. It's never just going to be straight up. There's going to be little bumps in the road on the way and stuff like that. So and I've been there myself, so it's good to just sort of guide people, make them see that change and see how happy they are in themselves after it. It's amazing. It's a great job, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Last few questions before I let you go. Back to BKFC a little bit now. Obviously, you're looking to get back out there next year. In an ideal location, we talked about Marbella, earlier. They come to Newcastle a lot. How many fights? I know setbacks, and you've had a lot of them in the past. But ideally, in a perfect Cameron Hardy world, how many get outs would you like next year, and potentially where? Because I believe you're a man that likes to travel as well.
Yeah, like I would like at least sort of two, 3 fights a year. I mean, on the hands and stuff like that. I mean, I think it took about 12 weeks for my hands to fully recover from the last one. Yeah, it was rough. Um, so you've got to be mindful of your body when you're doing things like the bare knuckle and stuff. So two, 3 of them a year. The Marbella show looked absolutely fantastic. That looked amazing. So I'd love to fight there, and then I would also like to go over to America and give some of the Americans it as well.
Yeah, I think the Marbella show just suits you down to a T. Party Hardy. I think your fans would look at that and feel like party. Obviously Marbella. It
Yeah,
just makes a ton of sense.
makes
A
makes
lot
sense. Me and McGregor on the forged Irish stout after. Don't mind if I do.
of but yeah, it would be a fantastic spectacle. I'd love to see it. Cameron, mate, you're always a pleasure. Great to speak to. I'm looking forward to seeing you return. Thank you very much for your time. Hopefully, we see you back out there next year, 2, 3 times. I'm looking forward to seeing what's in store for you in the BKFC future.
Champ, world champ.
That's the way to put it. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Cameron Hardy. Follow his Instagram. Will be in the link in the bio. If you're interested in Fight to Fit, make sure you reach out to him. Cameron, mate, an absolute pleasure. Catch you all soon.
See you soon, mate. Thank you.